Hello, and welcome to Boomer and Beyond Wellness. I'm Angela Fischetti. Today we have a total body workout for you, and it is going to be all about compound movements. Now, what are compound movements? Well, they imply multiple joints and multiple large muscles. And this is the important part, folks. They're large muscles. So therefore, in this workout, we're not going to be doing isolated bicep, tricep work because they're going to be involved with the work, with all of the work, really. So basically, I would like you to look at exercise not from a reductionist perspective, because the body is systemic. We work together, the muscle groups. So let's say I am doing a bicep curl. Well, if you think that the bicep is the only muscle that's working, that would be incorrect. So the concept is that they're working throughout the whole program. I would like to remind you to refer to the warm-up and the cool-down video that are provided for you here on the YouTube channel. Today, we'll be doing sets, which is a group of repetitions of 8 to 15 repetitions. And we're going to be running the whole program through. The first time through without any resistance at all. We're going to use that today, in fact, as our warm-up. But it will be great for those of you who have some of the medical issues, and also for those of you who are brand new to strength training or brand new to exercise. Look, this channel is catering to 50 years and beyond. Way beyond, folks. And it is my hope that this encourages you to go forward, level up your work in a very safe and effective manner. But we're always going to honor those of you with those medical concerns and those of you new to the work. And then I will be doing 2 more rounds of the work with weights. And you get to determine what's appropriate for you. Now, speaking of that, we want to work at an acceptable level of muscular discomfort. Joint pain is totally unacceptable. I'm going to provide for you a link to a chart. It's a rating of perceived exertion chart. I like the older model, which is based on 0 to 10, and 0 being no effort, 10 being the most that you can possibly do for 1 repetition. So I'm looking for you to work between a rating of perceived exertion of 6 to 8 on that scale. Now, for these medical concerns, I have found over the course of a 35-year career working with this demographic. I am now 65 years young, so I'm a part of the demographic, right? But my whole career has been targeting this demographic. I have found about the following 8 or 9 issues really get affected by inappropriate form and technique. So we want to make sure you nail this stuff and to nail it in such a way that is appropriate for you. So if you've ever been diagnosed with, in your whole life, with any kind of back spine issue, no joke on the back spine, but truly, if you've ever been diagnosed, then I want you to pay attention to the modifications that I offer, particularly those of you who've been told not to bend down into a forward flexion, right? And those of you who are medicated or not for hypertension, those of you who have vertigo, GERD, rotator cuff, which is kind of deep into the shoulder, pinched nerve, carpal tunnel syndrome, and knee issues. Now, for knee issues, it's pretty much an easy fix. You can keep your range of motion, which is the bend of the knee, shorter. Or you can also execute a wall seat. So you put your back to the wall, great for back spine, by the way, great for back spine. And you get to go as low as you want, depending upon what the knees can handle. Now, maybe you can slide up and down the wall to do it in repetitions, or maybe you just stay there and you isometrically hold. All is good. Let's see, what else? Yes, so those are all of the issues. Now, I want to invite you with those issues to preview the video first. Look for what you can do. We're pretty good with our chronic issues and stuff later in life. We pretty much know what we can't do, right? But look for what you can do. Even if you choose 1 exercise per video that I post, you will create your own exercise protocol, folks. everybody has an opportunity to learn and work. And even if you're bedridden and even if you're in a chair, you can do part of this work. Now, the accessories we're using today, I much prefer sticky yoga mats to exercise mats. They kind of slide around. You do want to make sure that your surface is flat and that there is no throw rug underneath the mat. Please do look at my medical disclaimer on the platform on my channel, because I do get into it a bit with some tips and suggestions. We'll also be using, I will be using for sure, a workout bench. This is typically how I train anyhow here in my home. But if you don't have a bench, that's okay. But I do want to caution those of you with hypertension, vertigo, and GERD, watch it when you come onto your back. We don't want the head flat. Just take a little pillow or something and elevate your head up a little bit higher. For those of you who cannot get up and down off the floor, then maybe not my preferred surface, but maybe you can do this lying down on your bed as well. And of course, those of you who can get up and down from the floor, put anything on the back, I invite you to go there, okay? Now, we'll also be using an assortment of dumbbells. Now, today, I'll be using between 10 and 25 pounds. But if you don't have any, or you're not ready for weights, I got you covered. We'll talk about that. And then also, I'm going to be using a Fitball today. It's kind of a squeegee ball. They don't burst. It's great. They come with a little straw. You can just blow it up. And then I will also be using 2 wedges. See that? Now, if you don't have a wedge, I'm going to show you now, before we even get to the exercise, how you can use 2 dumbbells, all right, for wedges. Because I want to put your feet into plantar flexion, pointing down. So when I should have actually showed you, sorry, come around the front, then come on. I got a little cocky there, because it is, I find, a little safer, all right? So we have the heels up on the bar, not the arches of the foot. And when I go to execute the movement, it's going to allow me to slide down as if I'm sliding down the back mirror you see, right? So I'll just show you here one more time. This is not our warm up yet. I just want to show you how you can use those dumbbells if you don't have the wedges. Is it perfect? No, because the toes are bent. Your foot's not 100% plantar flexion, but it's pretty darn good if you don't want to have those wedges. Okay, let me get this out of the way. Pardon my back, small space. Sometimes you will see my back. What else? I think I showed you. Yes, we went over everything so far. I have the largest cheat sheet in the world, folks, 4 by 3 feet, but it's great. It helps me. So what we're going to do is we're going to run through the whole program for those of you who need modifications, those of you new to working out or strength training, and that will be the rest. For the rest of us, that's going to be our warm-up. All right, that's how we're going to fit that in. And then we're going to do another full round with the weights. We're going to go through that whole round with the weights. And those of you who are more seasoned, you can do more rounds. That's fine. That works great. But for everybody, make sure if you're going to leave early from the workout or anything, make sure you go to that cool down video and do some of that to bring it all down. 55 years and above need 10-minute warm up prior to strength training. Keep that in mind, okay? And I think we've got it all. So I'm going to start out with elevated heel Fitball squats. And I'm going to show it first on those dumbbells. I just decided I'll bring those dumbbells in for you for the first round. And make sure the weights are even. The collars of the weight, the heads of the weight are touching each other. I'm going to do it the right way this time. Now, I'm going to step up on the bar with my heels. When you put the ball between your thighs, between the thighs and a little bit toward the knees, the plug does not face the skin, because that could hurt. All right, so just keep it away from the skin. I'm squeezing that ball because now I'm going to tie in my back extensor muscles, my glutes, my hamstrings, my adductors, my quads. Even those of you with knee issues might like this approach. Plus, all those plantar flexor muscles, they come from the calf muscle behind the low leg, soleus, plantaris, gastrocnemius. It's all gonna love you, folks. All right. So just for the moment, I'm gonna put the hands to the waist, visualize sliding down that back mirror, squeezing that ball, and exhale up. I lift up on the kneecaps to pull the belly button in and contract those thighs. And exhale. We're not whipping through the exercises, folks. You are executing each movement, pausing at the peak of the contraction. Here, that would be on the up phase, squeeze. The breathing would be inhale down, exhale up. Preferably in and out through the nose, but whatever. I just want you to breathe. Keep yourselves hydrated with water. I don't know, flavored teas and flavored waters. I don't know from that stuff. I just know, stay hydrated with water. That's a lot of the studies and articles I have read through Harvard Health Publishing. Let's go for 2 more. We will be adding the weights on that next round. So let me put these out of the way now. Now we're going to move on to incline chest press, but I'm going to stay upright for you, okay? So, and we're going to do it without any resistance. When you add the resistance, you would hold in your hands, of course, and you can also go up here, but I would tend to hold them down. So incline chest press. I'm going to first show you the wide grip is like this. I'm fully upright, which you choose to do. Now, look at this area and make sure that I don't collapse that sternum, the breastbone. What can happen is the abdominal can pull me. Don't let that happen. That will just aggravate more back spine problems, particularly if there are postural deviations. Now, why do I want these strong muscles? I'm going to lean back to kind of simulate an incline. We want those strong chest muscles, those strong pecs. So in case, let's say we encounter a really heavy door in an old building, well, we need the hips and the pecs, front delt, triceps to push that thing open. Maybe you're pushing your beautiful grandchildren in their baby carriage. Maybe you're pushing a very heavy grocery cart. I want you bent over the cart. I want you upright and proud. Last one coming up. Exhale, push, and relax down. Now, next round is going to be goblet squats. Now, all the squat work, folks, back spine, you need to be careful. I don't know about how far flexion, so always choose the wall until you find out if this is appropriate for you or not. Maybe you show the video to your medical health care practitioner. Let them see it and then help you make an informed decision. So with that, yes, okay, with the goblet squat is going to come the incline chest press, but now we're going to take it with a narrow grip. Like that. So with goblet, we're wide. Wider, not very, very wide. We're wider than we were. Hands like so. So carpal tunnel, not good. Not like this for you. Any arm position, I don't care. It's the wrist. That's a wrist extension. So you might want to do it with a suitcase grip or hold up here. Feet are a bit wider than the hips. I'm going to have the weight literally, you'll see it underneath my chin. I sit back and I go as low as I can and up. Now, obviously, if you have knee issues, you're not going to go as low as you can. You just go to what is appropriate for you. Take that pelvic tuck at the top. I'm going to turn to the side. See, it's not a huge pelvic tuck. It's called a posterior pelvic tilt. Watch this. Squeeze. And I pull up on the kneecaps, and the quads are getting it as well. The quadricep muscles at the front of the thighs. Toes lifted inside the shoes, so you drive up from the heels, going right into the gluteal muscles. Let's do 2 more. 1 more. Lovely. Now, let's take that incline chest press, narrow grip. Arms closer together. See that? Lots of tricep help here. Again, make sure this stays lifted. No collapsing. Keep that head a little bit up, not totally flat. For hypertension, GERD, and vertigo. Now, I live in noisy South Beach. You may hear some stuff now and then. I do live in a condo, so there's some group living going on around here sometimes. Last one. Nice and controlled. Lovely. Let's take a couple of shoulder rolls. Now we're going to do sumo squats, wide squats with double arm bent over back row. It is a mouthful, but I'm going to show you how to do it upright, particularly important for back issues and spine issues. So sumo squat, well, we're going to go wide, just like those sumo wrestlers, right? You can have your hands here. Here, you can have the weights here, up to you. 1 weight hanging, or you can tie in without any resistance, an abduction movement and an adduction movement. So toes are lifted. Now, why do I lift those toes? Besides, of course, driving up through the glute, because that helps you to work your shin muscles, which tie up into your knees. So therefore, that helps your knees. And this helps your balance. Inhale, exhale. Not bending forward, we're sitting back. Now, for the moment, I felt like this foot slid out a little bit because I couldn't feel the contraction. There it is again, in the gluteal. So sometimes you can be a little too wide with your stance. Let's go for 1 more. And relax it down. The double arm bent over back row to be done upright for you for the moment. So wide grip. So you know what that is, right? I come out, and now the emphasis is pulling back. So think you're pulling on something super heavy, trying to draw it toward you. I'm going to turn my back to you. Just want to, yes, okay. Want to make sure that you can see that scapular retraction happening. I'm not forcing it. I'm not yanking this back. It's just happening naturally. But what you want to avoid, folks, is a forward head projection, thinking, wow, I'm going further back. No, you're not. So just be careful of that. A couple more. We want those strong back muscles. Bend down, pick up something, get right back up, right? And 1 more. And lower the arms down. Now we're going to do deadlifts with a lat, short for latissimus dorsi, pull down. And I'm going to show you the difference between a basic squat and a deadlift. So basic squat, well, I like to sit up with the feet hips width apart. I line up the hands to the inside of the high pelvic bone. That's your iliac crest, pointing down, lining up knees, I should say ankles, knees to the inside of the pelvic bone. I'm going to bring the arms out in front and sit back into the chair. Toes are lifted. Let me step back a little further so you can see those toes. Okay, so that's a squat, right? Well, now for the deadlift, I like to go wider, which actually changes the name to a Bulgarian deadlift. And I soften the knees, but I'm going to hinge from the hip. And there's that similar posterior pelvic tilt. It's not a big, deep thrust of a back bend, folks, especially for our age group, especially where there might be some pre-existing concerns. And certainly with a deadlift, I am not a fan of this for back spine. I say, please do the wall squat, the wall seat, or one of the other squats. Again, if you don't know your situation and you've been in pain, I would not do this one. Now, for some of you may not have an issue, a medical issue, right? But your back, you're not going to go that low. So I don't care. That's going to still be it because you're hinging and the knees are bending. Let's go for one more. Yes, drives it right up through that posterior chain. It's wonderful. Okay, so now we're going to do a lat pull down. I'm going to show you on the floor here. I'm coming down to one knee. You don't have to. This is so that you can see what's going on. So with the lat pull down, I want to imagine a big bar in front of me, and it's really heavy. And I want to pull it toward me while I lift the chest up toward the bar. A lot of times people pull and they do this. We don't want that. That's an abdominal crunch. So if you're a swimmer, you're going to love this exercise. The latissimus dorsi, the swimmer's muscle, is what it's called. Make sure you stay hydrated. Make sure you're exhaling on the effort, E-E. Inhale here, exhale, pull. And especially when there's no weight, you want to imagine there's something super heavy because otherwise you're just going to whip through the movement mindlessly. We've got to stay mindful when we're working out. Last one. Now, my right toes are tucked under. My left foot, which you cannot see on camera, is flat on the floor. Press down to lift up. The next round is going to be narrow squats with a military, AKA shoulder press. Now, narrow squats. I'm going to step closer here so I have the white backdrop behind me. Narrow squats, and I'm going to exaggerate this when I show you, is going knock knee. I should say, pardon me, valgus knee. Those of you with valgus knee, this is contraindicated a narrow squat because of this positioning. You don't need to focus going closer together. So you can do another round of, let's say, the sumo squats or basic squat, but avoid the narrow squat. For the rest of us, well, we're going to go there. Toes same line. I'm going to sit back, toes lifted, exhale up. What you might notice here now is, wow, I can't go as deep as the other movements. That's because the legs are more narrow. The other way, you have broader base of support. Remember, when you're full out doing the work, you want that RPE, rate of perceived exertion, between 6 to 8. Stay hydrated and breathe. Breath is good. Of course, back spine, you're not going to go so deep. You're going to find out if it's appropriate for you. 3 more. Toes are up. Your shins are going to love this because they're kind of a forgotten area. And relax there. Military press. I'm going to come down again onto one knee to show you. However, before I do, those of you with hypertension, medicated or not, pinched nerve and rotator cuff muscle issues, I want you to pay attention. I don't know if it's appropriate for you to do stuff overhead, especially weighted. You might have been told this is contraindicated. So, the movement that we did on the sumo squat, without the weight, you can do the same. And you can choose delt abduction, adduction. However, for those of you with pinched nerve and rotator, you don't want to go any closer than about 10 to 15 degrees from the side of the body. Because what I'm doing here is omitting rotator cuff on purpose for you. I'm focusing on deltoid, particularly middle head. Otherwise, if I go here, I just brought in the supraspinatus now, and that's one of those rotator cuff muscles that gets kind of aggravated. All right, so we're doing right. Okay, the narrow squats down now. Sorry, I got a little lost there. So the military press is going to Did I do that? Well, we're gonna repeat them if we did do them, pardon me, but I just wanna make sure. Yeah, we did do them. Okay, so much information to pass on. Great. We got it. So we're gonna bring the weights here now for a narrow squat, pardon me, the military press with a wide grip, and we're gonna go up and down, straight up and down. So why do we need these shoulders to be strong? Women, I have to tell you that this muscle group is particularly weak on us, and that's kind of scary. If you want to put something way overhead up in your, your kitchen cabinet, some cans of beans, etc., but you also want to be able to pull them down. And oftentimes, people who live in a house for many years, they have a junk box, and that's oftentimes way up in a closet somewhere, and we just keep adding stuff to it over the years. Well, I am concerned about the day that you take that box down. So you want to be strong here. One more. Now, right toes tucked under, hands to the thigh, back up you go. All right, front squats is our last round. And with the front squats, what we do is we hold the weights here or here. Careful for those of you with golfers and tennis elbow. Not too sure about this, you would have to find out. You may want to go back to the suitcase grip. So with the front squats, I place the weights here, face you more this way, sit back. Now, it's going to be incredible the difference that you feel when the weight is out in front. Now, when I say in front, it's just in front of the shoulder. It's not away from the body. I've got my hands as close to my shoulders as my bicep muscles will allow, because they flex when the elbows are bent, flexed. Pushing up from the heels, tuck. A lot of information to pass your way, folks, so sometimes I have to just kind of regroup for the moment. Let's go for two more. And take it up, hold, and we're going to do another round now of the military, aka shoulder press. However, narrow grip. This is a narrow grip, so they're facing each other. I'll take it down on the floor. When I go to do the work with the weights, I'm not going to be down on the floor. Here we go. I always have to try to control what you see is my right arm, because that elbow always wants to flare out over here. Exhale. Push up. Reach the ceiling. And let those elbows straighten. All too often, people do this stuff. And guess what? Guess what? Over time, they can't straighten their elbows anymore. Get it up there. So if you find the elbows bending, lighten up the load. Last one. Hands to thigh to push up. Okay, we're going to do that whole puppy all over again now. And now we're going to pull the weights and the rest of the toys in. So let me set up my wedges. La-di-da. Have that ball available. Okay, 25 pounders for me. What about you? If you need to continue on without any weight, that is acceptable. But the weight, if you can, even if, like I said before, even if it's 1 pound. Okay, squeeze that ball. Shoulders back and proud. And slide down that back mirror. And hello, my range of motion is different. So notice when I'm on the wedge, I'm in an absolute 100% plantar flexion. Squeezing the ball so it doesn't pop out. Sometimes if it's too far back behind you and your thighs, it'll pop out. It won't hurt. Whew. Make sure you equally push up from both heels. I caught myself pushing up from what you see is my right, my real left. Last one. And carefully step on off. I'm gonna let that drop if it will, and put my weights down. Typically, I encourage crossing the weights so that they don't roll off your surface. And 18 pounders for my incline chest press wide grip. I broke my wrist this past year. I was up to 20 pounds. So I just recently leveled up from 16 to 18. We'll get there. Just not quite yet. Exhale. Now make sure if you are on your back that you're not collapsing your chest, that you're not allowing the abdominal to pull you down when your arms are up here. So lots of pectoralis, front deltoid, and tricep, and biceps are in there too, folks. Exhale. One more. So I'm going to lift my thighs toward the weights so I don't crash the weights down. Crossing. All right, let's go get that ball, Angela. There we go. So now we're going to be doing the next round is going to be the goblet squats with that incline chest press again. So let's get this out of the way now. And I'm going to grab a 25-pounder for the goblet squat. Remember, carpal tunnel, you're not going to use this hand position. Feet wider. Weight right up to the chin. And I sit back, head up. Now, why is it important to have that chin up? Because the cervical spine of the neck and the lumbar spine of the low back are in the same position as such. They contain a natural lordotic curve, which is basically like a little back bend, little back extension. Woo. Two more. Inhale, sit back. Exhale, up. Inhale, sit back. Exhale, up. I fibbed two more. I can feel I have it. I don't want to do it, but I can. Again. That's it. Okay. I have to be honest with you, right? Okay, cross the weight. Back to incline chest press. Narrow grip this time. And exhale up. Sometimes people put their foot up on the bench to help support the back. Now you can create an incline on the floor or on your bed by stacking some pillows. Inhale down, here we go, exhale. Yes, you do go to fatigue. It is compound movements that require a lot. Okay, one more. And grunts, groan, all that stuff is appropriate. Okay, cross the weights. Next round is going to be sumo squats with a dumbbell, I should say a double arm bent over back row. Now, I am actually going to just flatten this bench for the moment because I could use it to house my weights. So I'm going to pull over my 15s. And have them here. sumo squat. I'm gonna level up. I've been doing, pardon me, okay. I've been doing the sumo squats with 130-pound weight, but I'm gonna try with an 18 on each thigh. This is the wide-legged one. Again, everybody with back, spine, knee issues, pay attention to the modifications. So resting the weight, sit back, exhale, up, squeeze. So I'm readjusting because I could feel that I could not get a full sense of contracting the glutes. Now I am, a big time am. And toes are lifted the whole time. Go for 3 more. Inhale, exhale, belly button in, pelvic tuck. Each time. Last one. Nope, 2 more. Real last one, I promise. Whoa, yeah. And relax it. The bent over double arm back row. Remember, those of you, you're going to stay upright with the back spine issues, even with hypertension, GERD, vertigo. You want to try that. All right, so I'm going to face you first. Feet a little wider. Bent it over, but now flat back, right? Not this rounded stuff. I'm not even going to show it to you like that. And exhale, wide grip. Knees are soft, belly button is in, head is up, tail is up and out. Whoo-hoo. Posterior deltoid, working hard. Rhomboids, scapulae region, lots of beautiful muscles. Rear deltoid, all working. The body is never, ever, ever reductionist. Okay, cross those weights. All right, now we have the deadlifts with the lat pull down. So let me pull out this stuff here and line them up. I'm going to grab 20 pounders for my deadlifts. I'm going wide because I like it like that. And here we go. Knees are soft. I'm hinging, not squatting, but I am definitely doing that posterior pelvic tilt. Again, this is part of that process of bending down and picking up something heavy. Yes, I am working with the toes lifted. I love this movement. It really works, but it's so lovely. 2 more. I got 2 more, man. I don't know about you. Try it. If it's too much, you stop. Last one. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now, lat pull down. I'm going to stay upright. I'm not going to come to the knee this time. So I bring the weights. Actually, I think I can. Yeah, I can. So, oh. Now this is not a military press. This is a lat pull down. So it's out in front as you pull down. Not straight overhead. But for those of you with hypertension, you need to find out if this is appropriate. Otherwise, you can do that back row again. Also for pinch nerve and rotator cuff, you could do that back row. Last one. No, 2 more. Oh, that's it. And carefully coming up. All right, now we go to the narrow squats. Remember what I said about those of you with valgus knee? Forget that, okay? You do another squat. So narrow squat with military press again, but I should say military press, but with a wide grip. So for narrow squats, I'm going to use the 20s. Feet together, a little closer, there you go. Toes lifted inside the shoes, shoulders back, sit back, take it up, pelvic tuck. You might notice that you're not able to go as low. That's okay. That's because of that range of motion is increased when we have a wider, broader stance of support. Don't let the weights come out in front of you here, folks. Keep them alongside you, not out in front. Whew. 2 more. And what we're doing here, folks, is building bone and muscle strength. Just remember, building bone and muscle strength. Okay, military press, wide grip. All right, I'm gonna level up in front of you, all right? I was gonna use 15. However, just to show you that leveling up doesn't mean you have to jump quantities of weight. Listen, I know there are charts out there with weight percentages and all of that. This is how you level up. Yeah, well, maybe they don't have all of these pre-existing conditions. So I trust you, even if you level up 1/4 of a pound. So I have a pound more on my wrist weights and 15-pound weights. Doesn't sound like much, but I'm going to feel it. Here we go. Up. Yeah, 2 more. I mean it. Last one, I promise. Yep, that's calling to muscle fatigue. Okay. Now I'm going to take these off. But you see how it doesn't have to be a big deal to level up. But it makes a difference in the long run that eventually, when it's appropriate for you, that you do so. Okay, here we go, some more fun. Front squats, going right into military press, shoulder press. Those of you with that tennis golfer's elbow, you might want to change your hand position. So you can be here or here. I don't care which way you want to do this. Okay, here we go. Sit back. This one always gets me. I'm going to be quiet now. Toes are lifted. Balls of the feet are down. Two more. Now here's the fun part. Whoa. Military press. Narrow grip. Narrow grip. Here we go. Narrow grip. Sorry, I forgot about that for a second. Making faces. Last 2. And all the way down. Take some nice big shoulder rolls. And now, folks, this is when I invite you to go over to the warm-up cool down video and do a nice cool down for yourself. Don't omit this process. It's very, very important. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today on Boomer and Beyond Wellness. Stay hydrated, eat your greens, eat your beans, and have yourselves a super day. Till next time.